We get this question all the time. Who really makes the best blocks in the auto body industry? Well, today we're going to look at the biggest and best manufacturers in the game. We're going to put them all under a microscope, put them to a head-to-head test, and we're going to let you know once and for all who really makes the best blocks. This video is over 8 months in the making. David and I have looked at dozens of different block manufacturers and tested them to figure out who makes the best block. We're down to 8 different companies. We refer to these guys as the Great 8. In alphabetical order, we have BlackDiamond Blocks, Dura-Blocks, the Eastwood Company, Linear Blocks, Lucky Blocks, Next Level Blocks, TruFlex Blocks, and 3M. Coming out of Olympia, Washington, we have BlackDiamond Blocks. The cool thing about these blocks is they have 3 stainless steel rods in them. If all the rods are present, it is a rigid block. If you remove a few rods, you have a semi-rigid block. If you remove all 3 rods, you have a flexible block, but they don't just flex in and out. They'll actually twist if all of the rods are removed. These are originally based off of the AFS blocks that are no longer available, but what the owner did was improve on these blocks. They have better material. The handle is made out of a nitro rubber, and then the base is made out of a CNC cut polycarbonate. One of the unique features about these BlackDiamond blocks is the removable rod. And to be honest with you, I think that's going to scare some people away. When do I put them in? When do I take them out? I think if you had these blocks and you used them, it would take you a whole hour to figure that out. To be honest with you, it's an ingenious design that's pretty unique to this platform, and I really like it. These blocks were designed for comfort and for the person who's gonna block for 6-8 hours a day, especially in custom and high-end restoration. The handles on these things are super soft, super comfortable, and the ergonomics on these things are through the roof. I really like the weight too. If I'm doing a flat hood or a flat deck lid, it actually almost does the work for me. So those are some of the features that I really like about these blocks. Are these just a rip-off of the original AFS blocks? Are these just a copy? Absolutely not. That's a common misconception. Dean, the owner of BlackDiamond, took that original design and improved it. I own the original AFS blocks. I like them. These are light years ahead of those blocks. If you're interested in learning more about BlackDiamond blocks or purchasing them, Dean provided us with a 10% discount code. You can only get that discount on their website, but these are also available on Amazon and Eastwood to purchase. Up next, from Kent, Washington, is a name that doesn't need any introduction. This is Dura-Block. Dura-Block is a semi-rigid block that comes in many different shapes and sizes. They really revolutionized the game of affordable blocks, and they're made out of an EVA rubber. These are not a true hard block. So if you're doing high-end Riddler cars, if you're doing high-end restoration, high-end custom, these are probably not the block for you. Where these shine is production and collision. This is a very affordable block that you can get anywhere. They make tons of different shapes and sizes, and they're really good for people who are just starting out. I still use these for doing my Bondo or body work from time to time on production vehicles. For the newbies out there, for the rookies out there who don't have a lot of money, these are not a bad block to invest in before you figure out what set of high-end blocks that you want. Even guys that own a bunch of blocks and a bunch of high-end blocks still have a set of these in their toolbox that they use from time to time. To learn more about Dura-Block, please visit their website. These blocks can be bought individually or in kits. You can buy these on the street from your local jobber. You can buy them anywhere online. I actually like buying mine from Eastwood. Moving on to Pottstown, Pennsylvania is Eastwood. Today we're looking at the Eastwood Elite Contour DSB blocking system. It is a vacuum system, and it is the only vacuum system that we're going to show in our Grade 8 lineup. The handle is made from an EVA foam, and the base is a nylon plate. I've been buying from Eastwood for decades, and they've always taken care of me. They're a great company, and I have no problem singing their praises. The blocks we're looking at today, the DSB Contour set, you can get it in an essential package, or you can get it in a master kit. If you buy it in the master kit, it includes a bunch of sandpaper from 220 grit on down. So basically everything that you need to get the car in final primer. What's so unique about these, it's a dustless extraction system. With using this hose, you can hook up to it on the top, not the side. It's a little bit more comfortable to have it up top, and the other end will plug into any shop vac, and it will remove up to 95% of the dust. This is really geared toward the do-it-yourselfers. A lot of professional grade body shops have vacuum systems that they spent thousands of dollars or even $10,000 on, and they work really well. This is $100 or a couple $100 if you get the master kit. This is affordable for the guy who doesn't want to deal with all the dust and the debris, who's working in the 1 or 2 car garage and is very concerned about his health. This is a very unique package that a lot of people overlook. If you're not familiar with Eastwood or their DSB package, you really need to look into it. It's a great product. One of the other things that I really like about Eastwood that sets them apart from other companies is if I have a problem and I call them, their call center is actually in Pennsylvania. I'm talking to real car people. So if I have a question about my welder or my clear coat or my spray gun or my blocks, a real person is going to talk to me who's actually a gearhead and can help me walk through it. And Eastwood has done a really good job catering to the rookies, the beginners, and the do-it-yourselfers. And I'm really proud to have Eastwood on our side. For more information, please visit Eastwood's website. They also have a lot of how-to videos on their main website. Eastwood was kind enough to give us a discount code that you can use on any of their products, including but not limited to the DSB blocking kit, the Dura-Blocks, and the BlackDiamonds. From Burnham, Wisconsin, we have the big boy, Linear Blocks. With their patent vertebrae design that evenly distributes the pressure throughout the entire sanding surface. These are a polycarbonate design that are cut, made, and designed right here in the US of A. If you're into restoration or high-end custom, you already know who Linear Blocks are, and they specialize in making high-end blocks, and they make these block sets. I think they're up to 15 different sets or more. I have the original starter set that used to only come with 3 blocks. I believe their new starter set comes with 4. The cool thing about this style of block is they are polycarbonate. They have this handle on them, and they're CNC rounded. And the cool thing is depending on how many cuts that they have in the handle, determines how little or how much these blocks flex. So they sell a lot of different styles of their traditional linear block. But here's 2 sets that you may not be familiar with. This is the HyperFlex block kit. I love these blocks. It comes in a 4-piece set. It's a hard block on one side and a foam soft on the other. And as the name suggests, it's got a lot of flex to them. So these are very unique, and I use these a lot in restoration and custom. My favorite block set out of the 3 has got to be this mini detail set. This is pretty new. This is pretty similar to the HyperFlex, where it's got the soft foam on one side, hard backer on the other, but these have very little flex to them, and these are perfect for sanding clear coat, sanding hard to reach areas, and they come in a lot of different shapes and sizes. There's a lot of things I like about Linear Block. But they don't just make blocks, they make their own sandpaper that's pretty unique. They also make a high build epoxy primer that's pretty unique to our industry. For more information on Linear Blocks, you can visit them on their website. They're also on Instagram and Facebook. Colton was kind enough to offer you guys a whopping 20% discount if you use our code. Out of West Berlin, Iowa, we have Lucky Blocks. Matt makes all of his blocks in a small hot rod shop after hours, and these are truly handmade and handcrafted with love. They offer a polycarbonate setup as well as an acrylic setup depending on thickness, and they have a special handle that is unique to the industry. Matt at Lucky Blocks has been a professional hot rod builder for over 16 years. And like many of us, he was having a hard time finding store-bought blocks that met his criteria. So what did he do? He decided to make his own. These are very unique blocks, unlike any other blocks on the market, especially the handles. Although they may seem very simple, they're very effective by how you hold on to them, is they will actually shape the contour of the car without interfering with the sanding. So this is pretty unique. The cool thing is they come in different widths, lengths, and thicknesses too. The thin ones, the polycarbonate, will have a lot of flex to them. The thick ones, the acrylics, will have almost zero flex to them. So they're very customizable and they're very unique. I really like these pocket blocks. These little acrylic blocks are perfect for removing pieces of dirt and runs. And like the name suggests, I just keep them in my pocket. Another thing that I like about Matt is he's part of our community. He works out of a 24 by 24 shop. He makes these blocks after hours. He's part of a grassroots movement, and he's trying to create better stuff for the rest of us. And I really like supporting him in his endeavors. For more information, please check out Lucky Block's website. Matt was kind enough to offer you guys a discount code. You can find him on Instagram and Facebook. We're headed to the Great White North, aka Canada. Next Level Blocks is located in Welling, Ontario. These guys offer polycarbonate and acrylic blocks, but with a twist. Their blocks are attached to an EVA closed cell foam that's waterproof, meaning they will not take on water, they will float in your bucket, and they will not mold. Jason and his wife own Next Level Blocks. What I like about these guys is they're truly a mom and pop shop. They run a high-end hot rod shop during the day, and at night and on the weekends, they manufacture these custom blocks. Jason's background is pretty extensive. He's got over 40 years in the auto body industry. He started off like many of us doing collision work, and he slowly evolved into doing high-end customs and high-end restorations. Like him, I like to stick out my bodywork. What does that mean? I traditionally would use a flat piece of wood that maybe I made or a flat piece of plastic that I made, and I would come in and I would block them using no handles, and I really like that style of blocking. He truly made a block that's the next level, if you will, because with this foam that's glued on there, it's a lot thicker to hold on to, and it meets my style. Another thing that I like about these blocks is I do a lot of wet sanding, and with these guys, especially these three, they have the foam on them and they'll float, so they don't sink to the bottom of my bucket. But more importantly is they won't take on water and they don't get moldy. And they even have a pocket block, which is one of my favorites. For more information, you can visit Next Level Blocks website, or you can check out Jason's hot rod shop at Wild Rides and Fabrication. Next Level Blocks has offered a 10% discount to you guys. You're gonna have to DM him and reach out to him on Instagram. Now remember, Jason's in Canada, so when you buy these blocks, you're gonna save an additional 30 to 40% because of the exchange rate, so it makes these awesome blocks even more affordable. Now we're headed to the great state of Texas, Burnett, Texas to be precise. This is TruFlex Blocks. What I like about these guys is they have a very unique design block. They have a rubber handle that's super comfortable to hold on to and control. And then the base of the block is a blued tempered steel base. Believe it or not, there's actually a spring hidden inside the handle to allow the block to take shape, but it will not go past the 180-degree mark, meaning they will always truly lay flat and flex. The original designer for TruFlex Blocks worked over 40 years as an engineer in the OEM, so he has a pretty extensive automotive background. He started to get into doing body work on AC Cobra replica cars, and he wanted to invent a block that would actually work for all the curves and shape on that Cobra, hence the TruFlex Blocks. They will lay flat, like we said, but they actually have a spring that's built into them that they actually flex, but they won't go past that 180. Super comfortable handles. I like these where they have the blue tempered steel base with the real nice radius corners, but they also sell one with the Velcro. So if you like hook it sandpaper and you're not into stick it, you can actually buy those as well. For more information on TruFlex Blocks, you can visit them on their website. They were kind enough to offer you guys a 10% off if you go to their website, but they are on Instagram as well. We're headed over to my neighbors to the west, the 3M company, located in St. Paul, Minnesota. We're going to specifically talk about their yellow block kit, part number 05684. This comes as a kit and it's in Hook It for those guys who like the Hook It attachment sandpaper. We're also going to cover their wet or dry sponge pad, part number 05526. 3M has been in business for over 100 years and they're a global superpower. If you were born on planet Earth, you've heard of 3M and they've been around forever. But did you know they were originally Minnesota mining and manufacturing? And today they make over 60,000 products worldwide. What I like about their blocks is they remind me a lot of a Dura-Block. Their quality is a little bit better. I like their shape a little bit better, but this is really set up for the guys who don't like stick it and they would rather go with the Hook It attachment. So if you like the Dura-Block quality, but you don't like the paper choice, this is the good one for you. This comes in a kit, everything that you see here. This block here, it comes with 2 of them. And the cool thing about this is if you're using Stick It every once in a while, you can use this side. And then if you're using Hook It, you can use this side. It comes with 2 identical blocks. And what David and I did is we actually used a razor blade and some adhesive remover, and we peeled that adhesive and that Velcro off so both sides could be used for Stick It. Some guys like Stick It, some guys like Hook It, some shops use both. So this gives you a lot of options. I like the fact that they're high visibility yellow, and when you work in a production collision shop, sometimes you're working on this car and then you're going over and working on that car, and you may mess up and leave your blocks somewhere, so it makes them very easy to spot around the shop. This block right here is a game changer, especially for those guys that like to wet sand their final round before you go to paint. This block is super flexible, it's super inexpensive, and I think everybody who wet sands should have this in their kit. For more information about 3M, you can visit their website. You can buy these blocks pretty much anywhere. You can buy them online. Locally, I buy these from my painter supply and equipment. If you're buying them nationally, you don't have painter supply in your area, LKQ, NCS, and FinishMaster also sells these products. We do have an honorable mention, but before I get to that, please like and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow. We didn't get paid to say the things that we said today. We did a lot of research and we tried to pick the best blocks in the industry. We looked at dozens of manufacturers and spent over 8 months on this video using these different blocks in different situations so we could tell you who we thought made the best blocks in the world. But we did want to include the honorable mention. This is made by Norton. This is part number 03729. This is very similar to Motor Guard's Holy Terror that's been around forever. This is a semi-rigid block, and if you look at it, this is pretty unique because it has holes in one side. Why did they do that? Was it designed to hold water when you were wet sanding? Is this supposed to be like a soft block and this is supposed to be a hard block? Are you not supposed to use this side when you sand? I've even heard some people say when you put your wet sandpaper on this side, it doesn't do the suction effect and it helps with it. What do you think about this block? So ultimately I can tell you this, is it's almost impossible to say who makes the best blocks in the world. And that's not a cop-out. David and I started with over 24 manufacturers, and we slowly but surely would remove one company after another. We wanted to have the top 10, and we got it down to the top 8, or the grade 8 if you will, with an honorable mention. So all of these block manufacturers, in my opinion, make the best blocks in the world. And ultimately it's subjective. Do you prefer having a flat handle, or do you like having a rounded handle, or do you like to have a handle more like this? Do you like a lighter block or a heavier block? Again, it's super subjective, and I think everybody's gonna have their own opinion, and it doesn't mean that you're right or you're wrong. Who do I think makes the best blocks in the world? All right, I'll go through a couple of my favorites here in no particular order. If I worked in a body shop and we were doing collision work or production work and I was a rookie, I really like the Dura-Blocks. They're very inexpensive. The handles are pretty nice on them. They're not a lot of money to test drive like my toolkit set. So these are really good value. Would I use them on a high-end show car? Absolutely not. All right. These 3M blocks, all right, these are a little bit higher quality than the Dura-Blocks, especially for the guys that want to run the hook it versus the stick it. And I do like the high visibility. So if you're a collision shop, if you're a production shop, and I'm not saying low-end work, but you're just pulling out OEM quality and you're not doing high-end customer restoration, then the 3M or Dura-Blocks are probably some blocks that you should look at. Of course, for you wet sanders out there, and not everybody's a wet sander, this 3M sponge block is great because it really cuts down on finger grooving, especially if you're wet sanding before you paint. The Eastwood, the DSP contour system. This is pretty unique. I really like this for the do-it-yourselfers, for the guys that want to do 1 or 2 cars a year in a 1 or 2 car garage, and the whole mess of sanding and dust is a big deal for them. For the money, there's nothing like it in the world. So if you want a vacuum dustless system, I think these guys make the best block in the world. My little detailing kit. I do a lot of, everything that I paint, I wet sand and wheel, all right? Of course, I like the Lucky Blocks, the pocket blocks. I keep these on me at all times now. I lost one of them and I had to call Matt and have him overnight me one. These blocks are a game changer. The Next Level blocks, I really like these too because they're hard on one side, soft on the other side. They're not designed for wet sanding, soft on the other side, but I like these because they're a little bit longer and they offer a unique grip and they float. So these are awesome for little detailing and stuff. These blocks, and these are kind of new to me, these things are a game changer. These linear blocks, they're mini detail set. What I like about these is they are 2 blocks in one. What do I mean by that? They're a hard block on one side, so when I stick something out, but then when I want to use a soft block, I can actually use the back side of it. So these are one of my favorite, if not the favorite block out there for detailing. If you're a traditionalist and you like to stick something out and you don't like cumbersome handles, all right, then having the piece of plexi or the poly from Lucky Block is probably the best block. I really like this. Like at first I didn't think I'd like these handles from Lucky Block, but I really like the thick 1/4 inch blocks, and I like the medium size one for small, hard to reach areas that the block has little or no flex. So these are the best blocks in the world. Let's get into bigger blocks, all right? And I have, a couple different sizes here. This TruFlex block is excellent, especially the middle one, the medium-sized one. I really like the handles on it, and I like the control of it. I wish we would have got the hook it one, because this could be a collision block, restoration, or custom. This is a very versatile block that can go into many different shops. And I really like the comfort of it and the style and the flexibility. So this is one of my favorite blocks. All right, the last three. BlackDiamond, this block really opened my eyes up, all right? What I love about this block, and there's like 5 things I love about it. I love the weight on it, especially if I'm doing a flat surface like a hood, roof, or deck lid. It almost does the work for me on its own because of the weight. I don't have to push down on it, which you shouldn't be doing that anyway. I love the handle. I love the craftsmanship, the quality. And again, I love the fact that I can add or remove rods to make it stiffer or more flexible depending on what I'm sanding. So this is the best block in the world. If you're like me and you're a traditionalist and you like to stick things out, this big next level block, and they make different flexes. This one has almost 0 flex. If I wanted to stick out the side of a car all day, a big flat surface, and I didn't want to have the weight of a different block, this guy would be right up there, if not the best block in the world. To be honest with you, it's hard to beat a linear block, all right? Especially with the handle and then all the different cuts and the different shapes and sizes. What I like about this is the handle is comfortable, and if I had, like, let's say a 64 Impala that it had some curvature to it, if I was leaning the block a little bit, it's hard to do that with a traditional flat block, especially if I'm sanding for 8 hours straight. I really like the control and the versatility of a block like this. So ultimately, I'm gonna own them all right? I think each one of these blocks has pros and cons to it, and ultimately you're gonna have to decide is what is the best for your project or your shop or your situation. Hopefully this helps, and hopefully we'll continue to make videos that you can learn and we can grow together. Until the next one, from Gary and David and everyone here at Refinished Media, I hope you guys enjoyed it.